Hi, Paul Drinkon here with Prosperity Coaching Associates. Just finished doing my taxes. Every year we all have to do that, and I'm really glad that I've got my tax returns done. As I was doing my tax returns for this month's newsletter, I thought about returns in general. I thought it might be a good idea to talk a little bit about returns on your investments. In the newsletter, you will see that it can be very straightforward. If, for example, you have a CD, $10,000 you put in the CD, and you get a 2% return if you're very lucky these days. But for simple math, the $10,000, a 2% return, that first year you'd end up with a $200 interest onto that account. You'd have $10,200. And in the next year, if it was a 2-year CD, for example, you'd get 2% again on the $10,200, and you'd have $10,440. So that's how straight returns work, and a lot of times people think that that's always the case when they hear of average returns, especially in the mutual fund industry, where a lot of people have investments. So let's look at that just a little bit here, and what you want to be wary of, and look a little deeper when you see some organization or company quoting average returns on an investment. For example, in the newsletter, you'll see an example that I'll go through that if you had $10,000 in an account in 2001, it actually dropped that year. The S&P 500, a standard index, dropped 11.9%, and in 2002 it dropped 22.1%. Then 2003 the market rebounded, it was up 28.7%, and then in 2004 it was up 10.9%. Now the 4-year average, if you average those returns out, would indicate to you that you had a 1.4% return on your money. But the actuality is, people that had money in the market at that point in time painfully know that actually your account had $9,795. It actually had a loss, although the average return would show you getting a 1.4% return. Let's use some fictitious numbers at a little extreme, but really shows the point, and it is the same point. Let's say you had $10,000. The first year it lost 50%. Pretty straightforward math. Your $10,000 is now $5,000. The second year it went up 50%. Now that's 50% of $5,000, $2,500. Now you're up to $7,500, and in the third year it actually went up 33%. So that 33% of the $7,500 is $2,500. You are now up to $10,000, exactly what you invested 3 years prior. But if you do the averaging, 50% up and 50% down, it kind of zeroes out, and then the 33% positive, you divide that by the 3 years, you actually look like, with an average return, that you're getting 11% a year, when actually after 3 years you're exactly where you're at when you started. The point of all this, look a little deeper at average returns. It really is critical in investments, not only how much when it goes up, but if the down periods are lower, it does not have to come back as much to really get an overall greater return over time. Hopefully it makes sense. When you get into math, it can get a little tricky sometimes, but always take average return with a grain of salt, look a little deeper. If any of you want to call and talk about returns on your portfolios or returns in general, call me anytime, and enjoy this beautiful spring that's on tap. Until next time, this is Paul Drinkon. Goodbye.